All right, video 3 in our Google Sites series. When last we left our intrepid website developers, you were just finishing the edit site layout stage, which sets up the template so that it can be used with other pages. However, a lot of people, myself at the head of that list, don't like this gray template that's been chosen by BOCES. So what we're going to do now in the font, the just basic font. So what we're going to do now is show you how you can customize this part of the page, the colors of the page. Now you would think that would be an edit site layout because it goes with all of your pages, but unfortunately it is not. You click the settings button here, and instead of going to edit site layout, you're going to come down here to manage site. And there's a bunch of settings in manage site we need to talk about. So we'll start with this one here. Site categories. These are categories that when people are searching for your website within Shenandoah, they can quickly find it. So I might do PD, comma, professional development, comma, etc. You get the idea there. You're just going to put tags separated by commas that define a little bit about the subject your website's in. The site notice one comes up when people go to your website. It's like a news reminder. I can show you an example of it by going to my main Shen track website. Up at the top here of your screen, there'll be this little gray box, and you can change this box whenever you want and say, okay, got it, or you can actually put a link here that says click here for more information. So for instance, if you had a field trip coming up, you might put field trip on Monday, click more for permission slip. And then down here, you would click this and say, here's the page of the permission slip. And it would take them right to it. So in this case, I'm going to uncheck that. But this little gray box will pop up at the top. Okay, that, anytime you want to change it, you just simply click in there, delete out what you want, and re-put it in. Or if you leave it blank, that little box won't pop up at the top. The site description box here is somewhat important. It's the description you're going to give that Google will show up in the summary of pages when somebody Googles for your site. So that little paragraph or so that's underneath your site link, that is the site description. It helps Google index your website. So you should make it grammatically correct and include enough information about you and what you do so that people can find your website. All right, two last things on this general page in the manage site settings. One, if you need to delete a site because you want to start over, you click this delete site button. Remember that when you do that, your URL name that you chose previously will not be available to you. But if you have a couple sites that you're no longer using, you can delete them out like this. Okay, and then the really important one is all the way down here. Where this mobile button is, you want to make sure that this button is checked and say automatically adjust site to mobile phones. What that'll do is it will reformat your website so it's readable for people on their phones versus on a big screen. So to fit on here, it actually redoes the website. It doesn't always work perfect, but it's a lot better than just taking your main website and putting it out there to phones. All right, so those are some general settings that you can do right away in this manage site settings. But that's not what we came here for. We came here because we wanted to change the colors of that template. So we're going to choose themes, colors, and fonts. Before we leave this page, however, we do have to click save. That is one of the peculiarities with Google Sites is unlike Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides, you do occasionally have to click save in here or close for the changes to go forward. So I had to click save, and now when I click on themes, colors, and fonts, it'll take us there. So this is our page right now. This menu over here works left to right. So when we make a choice here, it changes the choices to the right. So for instance, if I want to change my sidebars and get that dark gray out of there, I would go to sidebar gadgets down here. I would then want to change the background and then the color of the background in those boxes. So say I'm going to go for something a little bit more Shen. We'll put some dark green in there. Now you can see it changes. This screen, by the way, here at the bottom is only a preview screen. You won't see your whole home page. You can't scroll up or down to see the footer, for instance, etc. Okay? We now have a problem, though, that as soon as I change it to dark green, we can no longer read the title of each of those sections over there on our sidebar. So what I then need to do is come here to the title background, the title, and I could do the title background if I wanted, and only the bar at the top would change, not the whole box with the content. Or I could just change the title and go to font color and choose white, and then it makes navigation and new sites show up. So This manage site screen allows you to change all of these components in terms of the colors over here. You do have to get which one is which right though. So say I want to make these titles a little bigger, sidebar, title, size. And so I'm going to come in here and make them 16. Okay. How is that title size different than text over here? This is the text down in the actual box. Okay, so for instance, in our news sites box, we had that CNN link. That would be down there. Okay, so you got to be careful of that. And then you also have to be careful when you come in here to text that this is text that's not a link, and then this is the color of the text that is a link. And you can see, you can actually scroll down and see there are two colors for that. So you do have to make a lot of changes in here if you want to get things to look a particular way. So I'm going to make a couple others. So I just changed the color in my content pane so it stands out a little bit from that dark gray. And then I might even want to change that dark gray. So I'm going to go to my entire page background and choose the color. And instead of making it that light gray, I'm going to try to make it the dark gray that matches this bar up here. So everything stands out. I like it when it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. So having that little color bar in there and this dark color there actually makes the page stand out a little bit more for me. But you can control a lot of things through this. The horizontal navigation bar right here. You can change the colors of these tabs and the colors of the fonts in those tabs. You can change the colors in the drop-down when the menu pops down below it. So there are a whole bunch of changes you can make here. The one thing I would tell you not to change is this blank slate theme. That's a really important part of the BOCES template, and changing that will have dramatic effect on your page, and just switching back to blank slate doesn't always fix it. So once you've fiddled with your text colors, your font styles, your background colors, and all that, you are going to click Save here. And that's about all we're going to do right now in the Manage Site section. We will maybe revisit later on this Pages tab here, but for the most, or the Sharing and Permissions one, which we already looked at. Okay, we'll go in there right now. So you'll notice that this website is public, and I'm the only one who can make major changes to it. I can, however, add anyone else I want. So if I wanted to add Gail to my site, I can make her an editor. If she's an editor, she can add new pages and add content to those pages. What she can't change, however, is my color scheme. In order to do that, she has to be an owner. Unlike Google Docs and Google Slides, however, in a Google site, you can have multiple owners. So I certainly can make Gail an owner of this site additionally. So you can have as many owners, managers as you want who can add content to the site, and then it's now public for anyone to view. So Gail's now got equal rights to this site. So that's the Manage Site settings, where you can change the colors, themes, and fonts, where you can set up some general stuff about your site, basically a description, and then where you can share it with other people. We'll come back to pages after. So that's the end of lesson 3.